but I just don't see it. Like, I just don't see how they could, like, I do not think it's possible to kill this directory or trajectory. Not directory. I mean, you could kill a directory probably, but
Yeah,
that would be difficult
You just
too.
have to delete it.
Just drop the table or whatever, drop the table from your database. Okay, yeah,
I love that part in that dubstep song where they drop the table.
It's the best part. No, to kill this trajectory, it would take a lot. It would take a whole lot.
I'm Tom Dickinson.
And I'm Louis Midas.
And this is The Cloister Room,
a podcast about Doctor Who and other things.
Did you face the Raven?
Oh, I faced it. I looked it head on.
Head on, applied directly to the forehead.
Yes, exactly.
Did you enjoy Face the Raven?
Oh my god, I loved it.
It was really good, wasn't it?
I loved it so much.
But
I loved it so.
It was sad though.
It was sad, but I mean, it was sad in like a but that's the thing is like it was legitimately sad, and that's like that has happened maybe a handful of times to me where like I legitimately felt like really sad about what was happening on screen.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was like so good. Like I just like, cause I'm rapidly turning into like this, cynical adult. And so any times like a television show can crack the armor, and get through to my stone cold heart, I appreciate that.
Well, that's good.
And yeah, I know. So no, I was just blown away by this.
Yeah, I was too. It was kind of a weird episode.
A little bit, yeah.
And then it kind of like seemed to meander through a sort of mystery plot that didn't really do much or go anywhere, but in the end it turned out, it was all a trap, and then Clara dies.
Right. Well, and this is, like, if I'm going to, like, objectively analyze this death, I mean, like, it's a pretty good death. I mean, like, in terms of, well, like, in multi-layered, like, I mean, like, it speaks to, like, this sort of, like, hubris that Clara has been developing where, like, she thinks she's invincible, or maybe she has a death wish. I mean, who could say? But, like, there's that. There's, obviously she's saving somebody's life, which is, this really noble kind of thing. And then on top of that, like, it's kind of foolproof. Like, I mean, I always felt like a little cheated by how poorly the sort of goodbye that the Pawns had was like, like how that was like framed and how the rules were set up, where like, it's like, oh, they're stuck back in time, but I mean, like, this is something that's happening to a time traveler. You're telling me there's no way for him to circumvent this strange restriction that's been put on him, like from seeing them. Like, that seems like, I mean, I understand like all the, whatever symbolism that was attached to the Pawns leaving. But this right here is like definitely final. There's even, I mean, like, yeah, all right, I'm sure Clara could find some way to return. Like, if, like, I'm speculating about what's to come, but what I'm saying is that like this feels really, really final, and I don't know, like I just like, and that was like, I don't know, I just thought that was like so good, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good death. I think it was better than Adric's death. Which is the other most recent like companion death we have to compare it to.
That's true.
It's like it was just so Clara. Mm-hmm. Like everything about it, from like the point where she took it on, which was obviously a bad idea,
right?
To her whole speech to the doctor, when she realized she was going to die.
Yeah.
Like it was just so, it just fit her so well, I thought.
Yeah. Well, and that's like kind of the thing. Like, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, there's something I really like about, like, I guess television specifically, but like, really any kind of work of fiction where like the characters are kind of saying the things that I'm thinking, which is where like, because I was thinking like, I mean, we've never really seen this, but like, I don't want Capaldi to go all dark because of Clara's death. Like, I don't want him to turn like, not evil necessarily, but like, I don't want him to like, rain down fire or whatever. Like, I mean, admittedly that would be kind of cool to watch, but like, I don't want him to like lose himself because of this. I mean, like, obviously there's going to be some kind of mourning, but I want him to still be the Doctor like through it all. And so I loved that Clara like told that to his face, like, you like, don't you dare hurt them or whatever, I don't remember the exact line, but like she spells it all out, like, you can't like stop being the Doctor, basically, which is just, I don't know, like that was just so great.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. And it felt like it made sense coming from her, because she was the one who had said the same thing to him in Day of the Doctor.
Right.
About how he couldn't do what he was planning on doing there.
Right.
So yeah, it just fit. And another aspect of it that I liked was she just very briefly invoked Danny Pink.
Oh yeah.
Who, unless I'm very much mistaken, hasn't been mentioned a single time since Last Christmas.
No, I'm pretty sure you're right about that.
But
unless he got some kind of mention in the opening two-parter, but I can't even remember how that would have come up. So no, I don't think so.
Yeah. The only even oblique mention of him was the Doctor telling Clara that he thinks she needs another relationship, which was in Under the Lake, and this is
right.
during a conversation about about her increased recklessness and stuff.
Right.
So, I feel like it's one of those things where he didn't really need to be mentioned throughout the season, because you could kind of see for yourself the way she was, like the way her actions and behaviors were changing.
Right.
And you could kind of imagine for yourself what that might have to do with her grieving for someone that she cared about that died.
Right.
And it's not, mentioned explicitly until right here, and then it's only mentioned briefly. So it's like, I always feel like everything with Clara and with the 12th Doctor, it's more what isn't said than what is said.
Yeah.
That seems so important. And even like Clara says, everything you're about to say, I already know.
Right.
So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just think it's an incredibly good end to her character.
Yeah. I just think, it's, oh God, it's so well done. I loved it. Like, and I mean, like, I also kind of like, and I mean, they didn't really have to address this, like, or, this didn't, I mean, to some extent, I guess it was kind of, well, no, not even, like, I mean, yeah, I was going to say, like, this kid, like, she's always, like, Clara has always kind of had this sort of weird, I don't know, like, this sort of, like, it never quite seemed right where, like, she always, like, I mean, I guess, like, the whole, like, grieving thing, that's, like, I guess an added element, but, like last season where we had, like, the concept brought up where, like, oh, she's addicted to this, and this is gonna cause consequences or some such. Which, I mean, in a sense, I guess, this is kind of the culmination of that, in a sense. I mean, yeah, I guess, in a sense. If you want to view this people handle grief all different ways, and if you are a substance abuser, like, one way to deal with grief is, by continuing to abuse your substance. So I guess that's, I mean, like, you could interpret this that way, in that sort of same way. And I mean, like, it's just so fascinating. Clara has been, like, such a fascinating character. And I just, like, oh man. But, like, this is such a, I mean, like, yeah, it makes perfect sense that she would, this would happen to her, and it would actually kill her. Like that's, it just seems so, like, and I mean, like, even so, I was literally on the edge of my seat, trying to figure out, like, oh, is there gonna, like, is something going to save Clara at the very end? Like is something going to happen? But, like, no, she just straight up does die.
I kind of figured she was gonna die. And in fact, well, I have been thinking for the entire season that she was going to die in this episode.
Really?
Well, I think I'm not alone in that.
No, probably not.
Because, the next episode is just Capaldi.
Right.
And it's been known for quite some time that was going to be the case.
Right.
And it was also said that Clara's exit was going to be devastating, and they weren't saying when in the season she was going to leave.
Right.
So based on those, I kind of decided that, she's probably going to die in Face the Raven.
Well, yeah, and that makes sense too, because I mean, like, you wouldn't want it if the death happened too early. Then people might be suspicious why Clara's not, why they're filming all these scenes or whatever, and Clara's nowhere to be seen. Like if she'd have died in Under the Lake or whatever, and then they were like filming the the Vikings episode or whatever, and and Clara was nowhere to be seen, they might start wondering like, oh, is this going to happen pretty early on? Like, why is Jenna Coleman not showing up for filming all these episodes? But yeah, so I think they had to like kind of like hang back a little bit. Also, like just from like a narrative perspective, you'd want to save that kind of a big punch like that for towards the end of the series, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So they do that, and but yeah, and it makes so much sense to have something big and monumental like that happen going into the finale. Where like obviously like you can have it like sort of like Danny Pink's death, where like it is like the, if not the first scene, one of the first scenes in that episode in what is it, Dark Water. Yeah, Dark Water. Yeah, like one of the first scenes in that episode is Danny Pink dying, and so like the rest of the two-parter can be about that, and so like this in terms of like where this death falls in like the total minute by minute running time of this series, it's not that different than where Danny Pink's death happened. It's just like it's just on the opposite side of a credit sequence, basically.
Yeah, you're basically right.
So, but it can have that same impact, and so like like that's the other thing is like I am so excited to see next week, and like we've been saying for a lot of this season that it doesn't seem like the following episodes would have to be absolutely terrible in order to bring this season down in terms of overall quality. And I mean, like, I do not at all from the trailer get the sense that this is going to be a bad episode coming up. It really seems like it's going to be another fantastic one. I don't want to get my hopes up too high, but I mean, it really does look like it is going to be fantastic. And whatever is it Heaven Sent comes first and then Hellbent?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I would be surprised if Hellbent suddenly takes a turn for the worse. So I mean, I think I would be really shocked if I don't really like Heaven Sent. I mean, like, I don't know. I guess there could be like a really weird thing that happens in it that I might dislike, but I mean, it seems so astronomically small that I would dislike it. So, but I mean, like, oh man.
Yeah. So I too am quite optimistic about the next two episodes.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing is they'd have to be really, really bad, like really bad.
Yeah. Did you enjoy Riggsy's return?
I did. I liked seeing how far Riggsy's come. Because he seemed like a delinquent kid almost in last year's episode.
Yeah.
And I guess like I don't know if like I guess more than a year has passed in his time, or well maybe not. I mean, he could have gotten. Like, because the thing is, like, he now seems to have, I don't know if he has, like, I don't know, maybe I just, like, missed out on this, on the subtler cues last season, but, like, he's got what I think is a wife, maybe, or at least a serious relationship with.
He's got some kind of domestic partner.
Right. A serious relationship with another human being, and that relationship produced yet another human being.
we don't know whether that was already the case during Flatline, though.
Right, that's the thing. Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like I didn't read any of that. Like if that was somehow implied in Flatline, I did not pick that up at all. So it seems like he's got responsibilities now. He's got roots or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Roots in the community, presumably. Enough that he is upset by a tattoo. Because I think if you're young and reckless, you wake up with new tattoos on you.
You wake up with new tattoos that are counting down to 0?
Haven't we all had that? I I feel like that's a common thing.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird that the quantum shade or whatever takes the form of a tattoo. That seems a little bit odd and specific. I don't know.
I mean,
do tattoos? Is it just
if it's gonna take a form, why not a tattoo?
I guess I don't really have a problem with it.
I mean, specificity is the soul of narrative.
I guess it is. Yeah, I guess I can't complain about that.
That's what John Hodgman says all the time.
that is what John Hodgman says. Which is why I'm so inclined to believe it. Because I believe everything John Hodgman says.
Good call.
Yeah, I think I'm making good, sound life decisions here.
Yeah, I did enjoy having him back. He didn't do a lot. He was mostly just there to be the bait for a trap.
Yes, that is most of what it is. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. So somehow Mayor Me knew that he was a known, I don't know, not associate, but like a known.
Sure, associate.
Yeah, all right, associate. Let's go with associate.
Maybe she just knew about Flatline.
That could be. Well, yeah, maybe she took in some of the Flatline people after the doctor got done with them. I don't know if that makes any sense. Probably not.
At the end of Flatline, is that the one that ends with Missy watching on an iPad?
Yes, it is. Yes, I do remember that. Yes.
Or was that the In the Forest of the Night?
No, in the Forest of the Night, she was at a desk and she was looking at a computer monitor.
Right.
Yeah, no, Flatline was definitely the one where she had an iPad, or I'm pretty sure.
So maybe somehow Mayor Me just got a hold of Missy's iPad.
That could be.
I mean, Missy could well be the person who's hired her for this scheme as well.
Right.
So
right. That's got the possibility that's it. I mean, and that's the thing is this does seem like a goofy plan that the Master is known for.
Oh yeah.
I mean, well, she's already had a few goofy plans since she returned, but another goofy one. This could be another goofy plan of hers. I mean, she wasn't disguised as anything, or at least not as far as we know. I guess she could have been had some kind of disguise on.
Yeah, she could have been. The lurkworms could have been making her look like something that she wasn't.
That's right. Yeah, that would be that right there. Oh man, this is so her speed.
Oh, exactly. This is the exactly the kind of bonkers, nonsensical plan that she would come up with. They're like, oh, we're just gonna find a person the doctor knows to lure the doctor into a fake murder mystery in order to get him to stick his arm in a hole.
Yeah.
Because that was the entire point, just to get him to stick his arm in a hole.
Right. That was literally you I feel like that's the thing is you probably could have saved a lot of time had you just said if instead of a trap street, what they had found in downtown London or whatever was just a hole in a wall, and it just had scrawled on it like stick arm in here, and the doctor would have been like, well, that's so ridiculous. There's no way that this could be a trap because that's just too dumb and obvious to be a trap. It's got to be a double bluff, and that's at the point in which he would just stick his hand in, and then boom, you've just saved yourself a lot of time and aggravation trying to trick the doctor, because the doctor's just this is too obvious,
and no one has to die.
That's right. Yeah, so I mean, I would believe it if this turned out to be a scheme of Missy's. I would totally believe it. That's the thing though, is it does. Yeah, okay. So I should probably say that I did something very unusual, and I only watched this episode once.
Really?
Yeah, I usually watch it a minimum of 2 times, but this time, because this is how I felt with Sleep No More, was that I watched it once and I loved it, and then I watched it again and it was still good, but I kind of came down a little bit, and this time I was like, you know what? I think I got it all. I think I absorbed it. I think I picked up everything it was putting down. I'm just gonna leave it
and never watch it again.
Yeah, I want this to be I want this to remain pure in my mind. I want to I think it's. I mean, I'll probably rewatch it at some point. I'll probably rewatch it when I'm rewatching Series 9, which I'm probably gonna do a lot. Once I have the box set, so I'm sure that I will watch this again. But for now, I want it to just be suspended in my mind as this pure, perfect thing. So I'm just gonna leave it there. But so anyway, having said that, what I can't really remember the Doctor's justification for thinking that he needs to insert his TARDIS key into this keyhole. Do TARDIS keys have a weird property I'm not aware of where they'll just fit into any keyhole?
Yeah, that's not incredibly clear to me.
Okay.
I think at that point he realizes that it's a plot.
Okay.
And just assumes that it's a plot to get his TARDIS.
Right.
So he just figures he'll spring the trap to let the woman out.
Right.
So
right.
he knows that the key fits his TARDIS key. He knows that the keyhole fits his TARDIS key.
Okay, right. Well, and that is a lot of the times what the Doctor will do is he'll just kind of cut to the chase and say like, you know what, let's get captured. Let's just call this bluff and stop just like dorking around here. Let's just cut right to the chase and just get this over with. And so that seems perfectly in line with his character, where he'd just be like, all right, this is clearly a trap. Let's just get caught, and then once we're in, once we've been taken to their leader. That's when they'll reveal their plan to us, and then we'll just sort this whole thing out. Because that's usually what happens. They're captured, and that's where like we, the audience, well, and the Doctor finally figure out what's going on, and then that's when the Doctor can really start tugging at the strings and causing the whole thing to unravel. So it makes a whole lot of sense here that that this is the point where that happens. And that happens like a lot. Like, I mean, in The Beast Below, the Doctor, whatever it is, it's like they have the two buttons where it's like forget or object, I think. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, all right, well, let's just push the object button, and then that's how he advances the plot.
Right.
And so I can get behind that. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It doesn't make any sense if the Doctor genuinely believes that I just need to insert my TARDIS key into this hole because that'll do something. But it makes perfect sense that it would just be this, that the Doctor's just so sure of himself that like, oh yeah, obviously this is the thing that the enemy wants us to do, but we're gonna trick them into just straight up doing it. And so yeah, that's exactly what the Doctor would do. So yeah, sure. I mean, like, yeah, this is such a convoluted plan, but I mean, like, the Doctor, it's not like the Doctor's like necessarily falling for it, at least not the whole time. Like, I mean, once he figures it out, then, the whole, like, he could have totally like thwarted it had he just been like, well, okay, this is the trap and I'm out of here or whatever. But he decides and so in a sense it's the perfect trap because, it played right into his inflated sense of, oh yeah, I can handle this.
The big problem is that it was a different trap than he thought it was.
Right.
He assumed it was a trap to steal his TARDIS or something.
Right.
Whereas it was actually a trap to put a bracelet on him.
Right. And as you know, this is the only time you ever could put a bracelet on the Doctor.
There's only one way you can put a bracelet on me. Only one time I ever could. I really thought Maisie Williams was great.
She is fantastic. She is absolutely fantastic. I would love to see her just keep coming back. I mean, like, I would hope that she doesn't keep doing this where she thinks she's doing a good thing or whatever, and then it turns out that she was tricked or whatever, or not that she was tricked, but like there was unforeseen consequences. Like, I mean, that's gonna get old if like every time she shows up, we know that she's like somehow not thought this all the way through or whatever. That'll get old, but like, I mean, like, I do really like her character, and I love the way that she plays it. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, I wonder whether we're gonna see her again. Well, I guess in Hellbent. Yeah, I just wonder, and I wonder if we'll see her again after that, because I mean, the whole shtick with her character is that she's immortal and never ages, and Maisie Williams is very young and won't always be as young as she is now.
Right.
So, but I feel like otherwise, that's a character that, if they did have an eternally young Maisie Williams to play that character, then there's no reason that couldn't be like a new recurring character like the Master or Davros that just always comes back. Because I think she is such a good character.
No, I agree. I do. I love her character, and yeah. And I mean, like, but of course, like, it's Doctor Who. You can come up with all sorts of goofy explanations. I mean, like in Time Crash, you had Ten spouting some technobabble about why Peter Davison was like, had his hair was graying, and he was a little bit heavier set than he used to be or whatever. And it was just like, oh, it's the time differential has been shorted out or something. I don't even remember. But like, so you could even say like, oh, well, a shielder / me or whatever is basically immortal, except that like if she goes for like a trillion years, she'll get a few wrinkles or something. So like, you could go like
much like Jack.
Right, exactly, because he's at some point he's got to turn into a face.
At some point. He's got to face the bow. Face the raven. Yeah, well, I was expecting the face of Bo to be in this. His name is in the episode title.
Yeah, his name is a third of the episode title. So it stands to reason that he would be in a third of the episode.
Well, yeah.
I think that's how it works. But yeah. I'd be ready to see a return of the face of Bo. I can see that. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, like that's like I do. I think I think that like Maisie Williams should come back, and I think like the thing is that like her character is kind of like on the outs with the Doctor now, so I feel like she does need like a little bit of redemption somehow.
Or I think it's going to get even worse.
They could get even worse. I mean, like she could turn out to be the Minister of War.
Yeah.
It was the Minister of War, right? That's what it was called.
That's the thing mentioned in Before the Flood.
Right, which could have just been another red herring. Who knows? Or like a season 12 plot or series 12 plot.
Series 12.
I know. I'm thinking ahead.
Wow.
I know. Yeah. So things could get a lot worse before they get better, or they could just get worse and stay that way.
Yeah, they could. They could just get progressively worse and worse.
Well, yeah, and that in itself would be a really interesting thing because like what does it say about the Doctor deciding to grant immortality to somebody? Like was that a bad idea?
I think probably it was.
Do you think overall that throughout the centuries, Lady Me / Mayor Me / everyone else, every other name she's had, do you think she's like in the balance of things has caused more harm than good?
I don't know. I mean, we don't know that much about what she's done that's good. I guess she's run this whole refugee camp.
Right.
Which was an interesting thing because it was like an interesting contrast with the way the Zygon two-parter dealt with the issue of like alien refugees living on Earth, and it was specifically referenced like, oh, you want us to be out there on the streets like Zygons?
Right.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is fascinating. Yeah, I like that sort of. I really like that sort of like persistent, I don't know, continuity or whatever you want to call it, where like, yeah, you sort of get that. Like, there's no reason that they need to be brought up here. I mean, like, well, I mean, it does kind of help Ashilder's point, but it's so, it's just so interesting to see, like, oh yeah, this is like what she's doing is a response to other things that the Doctor has done, and it's just like it's so nice how that all kind of fits together. But yeah, so I mean, like, I don't know. I guess in a sense, like, I don't know. It seems to make sense that they would want to have some kind of refugee camp for just wayward aliens. I could see that, and it seems like it's working out pretty okay
for the most part. Yeah.
Well, yeah, occasional Dr. Trap aside,
or occasional Raven execution.
Right. Yeah, actually, come to think of it, like it does seem a little weird. Like I don't remember specifically what that one sentenced alien was, like what crime he
stole.
He stole, right?
Medical supplies, I think.
Right. So he's kind of like he's kind of like an alien Jean Valjean, where maybe the punishment doesn't quite fit the crime. But the law must be upheld.
Exactly.
Right. So yeah. So
Russell Crowe comes around as Javert.
Yes.
And it's like, you stole a piece of bread.
Yes. So yes. It's the Raven as Russell Crowe. Is there a difference between crows and ravens?
Oh wow. I think there is.
I think there might be.
I think John Roderick knows.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I would call him an expert. So yeah, we would have to get in touch with him, I guess. And I guess also to find out whether or not pillows can turn into owls.
Hey, here's a question.
Okay.
A question about this episode.
All right.
Is our Sleep No More and Face the Raven a two-parter?
It would be I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But I'm willing to entertain the possibility that they are. I don't know how they would be, but it could very well be that the events here somehow lead up to the events of Sleep No More. Maybe the events here cause whatever great catastrophe causes, Japan and India to merge.
Yeah, we also don't know if there's any iCrud monsters hiding
and we wouldn't.
In the Trap Street, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could very well be. I don't think they were. I have to say, like, I'm not gonna jump back to last week's episode, but they were a monster that could not be reasoned with, or seemed like they could not be reasoned with, which is another thing about that episode that I like that I never actually mentioned when we talked about it last week. But so to that extent, I don't know how peacefully they could coexist with everyone else in that street. But I mean,
well, if a Cyberman can,
that's a good point. That's a good point. It's funny because like the Doctor does see a flesh and, well, not flesh and blood, but like a flesh and chrome Cyberman, and he doesn't do anything about it. I mean, I guess he's got other things on his mind, but it's weird that oh yeah, all right, that's just a Cyberman, and it's fine because he's not really like hurting anybody. I mean, like, yeah, it just seems so weird. I mean, like, you're so used to like Cybermen being like just the single-minded in their desire to convert, but here's a Cyberman who's like, had this been an episode that like was written about the Cybermen, the Doctor would see that Cyberman and think like, oh shit, this Cyberman is up to something, and I'm gonna follow him until he slips up.
It wasn't clear to me what that Ood was doing to the Cyberman.
Oh, that's a good point. Do you think he was like un-Cybermanning like a human inside? Do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know if you can. I feel like you can't un-Cyberman someone, but I mean, maybe Oods know how.
Oods know.
Who'd know but an Ood?
Who'd know and Ood know. I also like the sort of big burly bald guy who was a Santaran.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Yeah, I that was another thing that I really appreciated, was like it kind of seemed like their casting was such that like, even though they were supposed to be humans, they like kind of slightly resembled the aliens that they were supposedly represented, which I mean, makes I guess kind of makes sense, because I mean, like, to an extent, most of the alien races in Doctor Who are kind of like exaggerations of just different kinds of humans, maybe. I mean, like, well, not really, but like, you got like that green faced one. I don't remember exactly what it looked like, but like, that's not an exaggeration of human features. But like, the Santarans are kind of just like, they got like their big heads and they're kind of bald, and well, they're completely bald, and they're just like, that's like kind of human-esque. I mean, like, I don't think any human has ever looked precisely like that, but I mean, like, it's not that far from human. So anyway, it's kind of neat to see how they did that, and kind of fun.
Yeah, I did like that. I did like the whole sort of Victorian fantasy aspect where it looks like Diagon Alley, and even though it's not, like, everything looks one way but actually is another way.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, I liked how they did that, where like you could sort of see like flashes of like who they really were if you looked hard enough or whatnot. But it's but like normally like you'd see them and not think anything of it because you think you're just looking at humans, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. That's like, it's a neat concept on top of everything else.
Did you watch after the credits?
Yes, I did.
There was a little thing with Rigsy doing the graffiti mural in honor of Clara.
Right, yeah.
That was nice.
That was nice,
I do kind of wish they had done what they did when Adric died, the silent credits with no music.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you'd think Clara, if nothing else, had earned that,
No, I guess they decided to do the graffiti thing instead. But why not both?
Yeah, you could do both. But yeah, that's the thing, is like, this is because you needed something. you need some kind of like little tribute or some kind of respect or whatever. And so it was nice that you got to see Riggsy doing like an art piece for that, and that was pretty cool.
I do wonder whether we've seen the last of him.
Riggsy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, he seems like he could be another recurring character, and I mean, like, he could end up being kind of like the Craig, the new Craig. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I could see him coming back because I mean, like, I think there's more. Oh, actually, yeah, wow, he like pretty precisely followed the same like the same arc as Craig, where he got a baby in this episode.
Well, I think the major difference is that Riggsy barely knows the Doctor.
That's true.
He knows Clara a lot better than he knows the Doctor.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah. Huh. Right. So yeah, maybe it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for him to come back again.
It might not. I don't know.
Because he's interesting. Yeah. So I mean, I could see him coming back though. I mean, like I think because I feel like he could get into a lot more scrapes. I feel like that could be a thing. Well, yeah, and because it does at first seem like really kind of, well, a little bit contrived that like, he just happens upon this hidden street that no one's supposed to be able to find or whatever. But I guess it makes a little bit more sense that he was tricked into it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was like straight up called to that spot.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot more sense. So yeah, like that's like his association with the Doctor has put him into danger on one occasion. Why not have some more of that? I see no reason why not.
Why not, indeed.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think I like him enough as a character that I wouldn't mind seeing him again.
Same here. How would you feel about Sarah Dollard coming back to write another episode?
I mean, like, I think this episode was like fantastically written. So like, I would say absolutely she should come back.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, if she wants to come back and like write any number of additional episodes, like by all means, I think she should.
Yeah, the two new writers we got this series were her and Catherine Tregenna.
Oh, right.
Catherine Tregenna also being a tortured writer, though. But
right.
Both good finds, I'd say.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
yeah.
And I feel the same way about the new writers from last year. Peter Harness and Jamie Matheson, both of whom came back this year.
Oh, right, yeah.
Or did Peter Harness? Jamie
Didn't...
Matheson? Yeah, obviously, yeah. Peter Harness and Jamie Matheson both came back this year.
Peter Harness did the Zygon two-parter, right?
Yeah.
And what did Jamie Matheson do?
He did...
he did Under the Lake. Yes?
No, he did... whatchamacallit? He did the first one with the Schiller. He did The Girl Who Died.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah. I think, they should definitely come back. Yeah, I liked all their... Well, that's the thing, is there hasn't really been a bad episode this season, so like, yeah, absolutely, I loved all their episodes. But yeah, like, absolutely.
I think some people would say there's been a bad episode this season.
Well, I think that they are 1,000% wrong.
The lowest appreciation index since Love and Monsters.
Wait, was that Sleep No More?
Sleep No More.
That is bullshit. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it because the thing is, like, I think that was a great episode,
and they are appreciation index of 78.
Whew.
And it's I believe it's the only score under 80 since Love and Monsters.
Ouch. But then again, I mean, like, the public was wrong about Love and Monsters too. So
yeah, I quite like Love and Monsters, but Love and Monsters, I can definitely see why people wouldn't like it, and I guess I can see the same thing for Sleep No More. But Sleep No More seems a little less weird and off-putting, and potentially off-putting, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, Love and Monsters got a 76.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is low. Well, right, because like you were saying it's, or no, what were you saying? You were saying
the End of the World got a 79, which is crazy. Because the
End
of the World
really?
is great.
Yeah, like who are they asking for this?
I do not know.
Did these people actually watch the show, or are they just going based off of the episode title?
Yeah, I don't know. Sleep No More. Jeez.
Psh, it's terrible. It's Love and Monsters. That's an awful title.
But yeah. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, Sleep No More is probably my least favorite episode of the series. But I don't think it's bad.
You know, I actually thought about this, and I don't know where Sleep No More falls for me, but I don't think it falls at the bottom. I think like that's the thing is like I don't know what the bottom is. The bottom is still really high, but I don't know. I really do not think that Sleep No More is at the bottom of it.
I would have to reevaluate The Magician's Apprentice and The Witch's Familiar.
Yeah,
because it seems like a million years ago to me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It seems like it happened in a different season.
Yeah,
or a different series rather. Like it just doesn't seem. It seems so far away now because so much has happened.
Right.
And we've had the Zygon 2-parter, which seemed like it could have been a series finale.
Right.
We've had this, which seemed like it could have been a series finale.
Yeah.
We've had other like Before the Flood, not so much, but the A Shielder 2-parter earlier was big and epic. So It's just like so much. We've covered so much ground since then.
No, that's absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, like, right, because like there's like I keep forgetting like Davros came back this season.
I know.
Like that should have like in any normal season. I feel like that should have been the event.
The Doctor met Davros as a child.
Right. Like, how is that not like the biggest thing that's happened this season? It's so topsy-turvy.
But it's so distant and
yeah.
And yeah. I do wonder whether Davros is going to be back in the finale. I do wonder whether Missy's going to be back.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like, yeah, this could be another thing, like at the end of Series 5, where like it's all the Doctor's enemies coming together to do something bad to him. It could be the same thing. Could be the same thing here, where like Davros and the Master have teamed up, and who knows who else, just everyone else who hates him.
I do think we're probably done with Davros for now.
Yeah,
because I felt like there wasn't anything left hanging.
Right.
Between the Doctor and Davros, there was no like, oh, but the Doctor doesn't know that this is only the first part of my plan, or anything like that.
Right.
He seemed, defeated. Whereas with Missy, I feel like the things she said in that 2-parter about the Doctor and about Clara and about the two of them and about how, your relationship with Clara is temporary, but you and me are forever, or whatever all that was.
Right.
Like that feels very much like it could still be hanging over whatever might be happening in the next 2 episodes. So
yeah, I agree. I think that I would be I'd almost be more surprised if we didn't see Missy at all for the rest of the season. Like, I mean, because it feels like that should be the thing, is like the Doctor comes back around to Missy, like that, like that's where, like after your puppy dies, that's where you go, I guess. I don't know, like that's kind of like what it feels like that would make sense.
I've actually got a theory.
Okay.
My theory is that the event that Missy described to Clara in the opening of The Witch's Familiar is about to happen in the coming episode.
That event is
the Doctor's being alone with no TARDIS and nothing but a teleporter, and being stalked by assassins or androids or whatever.
Oh yeah,
programmed to kill him. And the only reason he knows that he's going to survive is because he knows because he believes he can win.
Right.
Like, she tells this story about the Doctor to prove a point.
Right.
Which, incidentally, that like it feels very much to me like I think it's easier to see now in retrospect, but that's like a very important part in Clara's character arc, because her belief that the Master, or Missy rather, pointing out to her that, the reason the Doctor always wins is because he believes he's going to.
Right.
And that's basically how she's been acting this whole series up till right now.
Right.
And it's why she dies, because not even really because of hubris or anything, but just because she's a human and she's more breakable.
Right. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing is, like she takes she starts to take risks that the Doctor takes, which works for the Doctor, because like even if all else fails, he can just regenerate. And that has happened on several occasions.
Yeah.
He's fallen from a satellite dish or whatever, and like fallen like whatever it was, like 4 stories or something, and that's like what killed him one time. So it doesn't take a whole lot.
No.
But yeah, okay. Well, so here's the thing: you're saying that story that Missy told is about to happen. This could be unreliable narrator, of course, or it could just be like what we the audience were imagining or whatever, because whatever was displayed during the flashback could just be an open interpretation of events. But I'm pretty sure in those scenes the Doctor does have his sonic screwdriver.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I mean that could be unreliable narrator, or I mean like if this is yet to happen and we're going to see it, it could be that could just be unreliable narrator, or it could be a sign that he's going to get his sonic screwdriver back, which could also be.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I've gotten pretty comfortable with the sonic sunglasses.
Me too, and I know a lot of people just hate them and want them gone. And
I mean, like, the thing is that they are serving the exact same purpose, which just adds to the hilarity. Because, like,
I do think they're more obtrusive.
They kind of are,
which is better because it makes it
right.
makes it so that the writers are less able to use it as a crutch.
Right. It's like when the bank puts a string on the end of the pen where you can't drop the pen or lose it, like at the bank teller's whatever desk or whatever. So like you just, it's anchored. It's the same thing. It's
I'm
still
not sure I agree. I don't know what you mean. But
you have you never been to a bank?
No, I know I know what banks are and I know about that. I just don't know what that has to do with the sunglasses.
I think because it makes it a little tougher to use.
Okay.
And it's you can't steal it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm getting at.
Sure.
No, I agree though. I think that it's better because they're forced to use it in moderation. So I think I like that. And the thing is, like, it's one of those things where, like, the Doctor was gonna figure out a way to do this anyway. It's just like you as a writer spent 5 fewer minutes writing your script if you could just say the Doctor waves his sonic screwdriver at the thingamabob, and now the thingamabob is doing what the Doctor wants, as opposed to like the Doctor just like it doesn't even take that much. I mean, I could come up with like a little reasonable, like, if you want to take like any scene from, I'll go as far back as saying series 1. If you want to go and take any scene where the Doctor uses the sonic screwdriver on a piece of technology, I could in 5 seconds come up with a different way for him to accomplish the same thing he accomplishes without using the sonic screwdriver. I mean, like,
sure.
if it has wires, just have him reroute some of the wires. Just have him like twist 2 exposed wires together, and then like it does the thing he wants it to do. You just accomplish the same thing without using the sonic screwdriver. And so now it doesn't feel like it's overused all the time. I just think it's so easy. I mean, like, all right, there are occasions where, like, the sonic screwdriver is like doing something that you probably, well, I don't know. I don't even know. I think
you really don't, do you?
I don't. I really don't. But I feel like there are so many, it's, and once again, like, we get back to things like when the 4th Doctor would, like, use a snorkel to, like, get out of being buried alive.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like, it's so much better when the Doctor just pulls a random object out of his pocket, and that's all it takes to save himself. It's so much better, and it makes just about as much sense as using a sonic screwdriver, maybe even a little bit less, but it feels like much more rewarding.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. So that's I think we need more strange things coming out of the Doctor's pockets, and less sonicking.
Well, okay.
Because I mean, here's the thing: have you ever heard a complaint?
Yes.
Okay. All right, you know what? Fair enough. I'm sure that you have heard a complaint.
No, what were you going to say?
Have you ever heard a complaint that the Doctor was pulling too many things out of his pockets? Because I have not.
I don't know if I've heard that specific complaint.
So I think we could ramp that up by a lot before we get anywhere near the number of complaints that there have been about overuse of the sonic screwdriver.
Probably.
I want to say so. So I think we could ramp that up very easily and just say, you know what? Pocket stuff. Let's just solve problems with pocket stuff. I think that's got to be how it goes.
Sure.
Yeah. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, like how much stuff has Capaldi pulled from his pockets?
I mean, he had a cigarette case full of Jelly Babies.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
He had a curio scanner.
Oh yeah.
He had... I can't remember anything else, but I'm sure there's other stuff.
You know what? He did actually pull out a yo-yo in the Viking two-parter.
This is true. Yeah.
To try and make them think he was God, which failed hilariously, which somehow makes it even better because like he was trying to get out of a situation and he pulled something out of his pocket and it wasn't at all like, he was trying to, he was just trying to trick some humans, but it still failed catastrophically, but was still really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. You know what? Yeah, I'm a fan of pocket stuff.
Pocket stuff's good.
Yeah, I'm going to go on record saying that.
I'm glad you're on record.
But anyway, I don't remember what we were talking about before that.
Nor I.
I don't know what the low point of the season was for me, but I don't think it was. I really don't think I could say it was Sleep No More. I don't know what it was, but I don't think it was that. I don't know.
For me, it was.
Well, I mean, something's got to be. That's the thing. Is it's musical chairs or whatever. There's going to be one episode that doesn't have a seat.
Oh, just don't tell that to Colin Baker. Do you know about his whole thing?
His whole thing?
Yeah. Do you know about his whole thing?
I think I maybe know a part of his thing, but not the whole thing for sure.
He doesn't like season ranking polls.
Yeah. Now, why ever would Colin Baker be opposed to season ranking polls? Well, I wonder.
He says it's not fair to the writers and
no, I agree.
Like who worked on the least favorite story. It's like, well, why not just say who the top one is instead of doing a list of all of them?
Right.
I mean, this is coming from the guy who is starred in the Twin Dilemma, which is the lowest on whatever poll you look at.
Right. Well, I'm kind of with you on that because I think you can say that there are great episodes where everything goes right, but a lot of things have to go wrong for there to be an absolutely terrible episode that's completely irredeemable. I feel like every episode has something in it that redeems it a tiny bit. I mean, like, I can refuse to see it, like in, let's say, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. I don't think... Well, actually, no. I admit that like Mitchell and Webb are pretty funny in that. But like, even though they didn't really even have that funny of a dialogue...
I didn't actually think they were funny in that.
I thought that they were pretty good with what they were given. Let's put it that way.
You need to learn some manners, Mr. Manners, or whatever stupid dialogue. I liked Brian, so...
Yeah, Brian was good.
But no, so I mean, like, even the Twin Dilemma, there are a couple things in that I like.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that like I mean, and at that point, like you are just like playing favorites for which episode you hate the least, which I mean, like doesn't make any sense because I think like that's the thing is like because I don't know what's right above Twin Dilemma in the polls, but like I'm sure that like whatever it has going for it are very different than whatever Twin Dilemma has going for it. So like I feel like you can't like rank those like, well, this did that one good thing better than the other thing. I mean, like, you're ranking like the one sole good quality about them, but they're like they're like probably completely different qualities. So it's silly to say that like, oh, this is like the score in this episode is better than the monsters in this episode. Like that's silly. Like if the one thing you like about that episode is the score, and if the one thing you like about the other episode is the monsters, it's silly to like say like, well, this one is objectively better than that one because, this did monsters better than anyone could ever do monsters, and certainly better than anyone could ever do a score.
Yeah.
It just makes zero sense. I mean, like, that's the thing. It's like you can, but that's, I'm going to have to say, I agree with Colin Baker here because like, yeah, when everything goes right, it. Like, I mean, like you can say like, oh, just everything about this episode is so right. And that takes some doing.
Yeah, I mean, his specific objection had to do with Doctor Who magazine.
Oh yeah,
like, and they're regular. Like every year they do a poll, like what's the best and worst of the season.
Oh.
And he has kind of always not been happy about that. So he's kind of had a strained relationship with Doctor Who magazine over the years, and hasn't tended to give them many interviews.
Interesting.
But recently, with the Sixth Doctor: The Last Adventure, which is a four-part Big Finish audio featuring his regeneration that was released this year.
Oh, right.
I guess Nicholas Briggs convinced him just, to help get publicity for that, he did a feature interview for Doctor Who, Who magazine, and, they had a photo of him on the cover, and it was the main feature of the magazine. This was back, over the summer, I guess. And in it, he gave a quote about how he doesn't like the concept of ranking stories. Why not just say the top 2 or top 3? Why put the hardworking creatives through the shame of seeing that their story is the bottom on the list.
Right.
And in that very same issue was, I believe it was like the results of the 2014 poll. And he got on Twitter and started, complaining up a storm about...
As he well should.
Yeah. I don't know. But the thing is, I think the thing is, like, Doctor Who fans just really like Data.
Yeah.
So...
That's the thing, is it's hard to... I feel that same way. I really like Data. I do. And, I mean, like, if you could just objectively rank everything, every single atom in the universe, if you could objectively rank it...
One of them would be the worst atom.
One of them would be the worst atom. Do you think... Yeah, I mean, like, it stands to reason there's a best atom out there and there's a worst atom out there.
Obviously.
And I wouldn't want to be stuck with one of those with one of the worst atoms.
But someone's got to be.
Yeah, everyone's got to be. Yeah, and I mean, like, obviously you're a lot of the cells in your body like regenerate, so you're constantly swapping out atoms. But like, what if that atom is in your brain? Because your brain cells don't regenerate; they just stay there your whole life. Yeah, then you're stuck with that bad atom the whole life, your whole life. That's
Until
terrible.
You die.
Yeah, I'd rather not know. I'd just rather not know if my atoms are bad.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true. I'm sure Colin would agree.
Yeah, let's rank the top 3 atoms and just go with that.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I like the Trap Street concept.
That's a really cool concept. Yeah, I think that was a neat one.
Yeah, I was familiar with it from Paper Towns.
Right.
John Green novel.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's an accessible concept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the score in this episode too.
Yeah. They did a lot of sad stuff towards the end. It was good. That was really good. So good. I agree. Yeah. Oh man, that's the thing, is like, I only watched this episode once, but I know it was good. Like, I don't need to see it again to know it's good.
Well, that's good. I think it's the best companion death that the TV series has ever done.
But of 2, or are you counting in other?
I'm counting Chameleon.
All right.
Adric, Sarah Kingdom, and Katarina.
Okay, you're counting all those. All right.
Yes.
Admittedly, all right. I guess I've seen Chameleon's death. I don't think I've seen Sarah Kingdom, nor have I seen what was the last one you named? Katarina. Yeah, I haven't seen those, so I can't.
They are both in the Daleks' master plan.
Ah, it's a twofer.
It's a twofer. 2 companions die.
Wow. Wow. Huh. Yeah. No, I've not seen those, so I can't comment on them. But of the ones I've seen, I would agree. That this is the best companion death.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Like that's the thing, is like, what happened to like most of the other new series companions was sad, but like this was so beautifully done. It was just like it was so perfect. It was so perfect. Like, so good.
Yeah, I mean, one of the on the Clara panel I was at LI Who, one of the things I said was we all kind of had the sense that she was probably going to die.
Uh-huh.
And what I said was, everything we know about Clara is that she's a control freak. She likes to be in control. She likes to set the terms of everything that she does. And I would hate to think that she would leave the show in a way that wouldn't live up to that.
Yeah.
And I think she absolutely did.
Oh, yeah.
From like the decision she made to her big long speech to the doctor about how no, this is not just going to be your excuse to become Mr. I'm so sad, I'm so angry, Mr. Revenge. That's not how this is going to be. She lays down the law for that.
Yeah.
There's this trope in comics that was identified by comic writer Gail Simone back in the 90s called women in refrigerators.
Oh, I know this. Yeah.
Yeah, so the concept of fridging a character.
Right.
Where a character, like, and it's usually a female character, like right. a character is either killed, maimed, or stripped of their superpowers, just strictly to spur the male hero onto action.
Right.
And I think there are examples of characters in Doctor Who that have been fridged.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there's a good case we made that say Osgood in Death in Heaven.
Yeah, that's true.
There's Lorna Bucket from A Good Man Goes to War.
Oh yeah.
Linda with a Y.
Right. Wow.
Even Donna to some extent.
Yeah.
Who was like given a memory wipe, not as like an element of her own character arc, just to give David Tennant some sad faces.
Right.
But in this case, it was like 100% purely her saying, "No, that's not what this is. This is what I did. This is my choice, and I'm gonna face it. It's not your fault, Doctor. It's not your fault, Riggsy. Screw you, or Shielder." Okay, she didn't say that, but yeah. So it was like it was completely hers, and I just love that about it.
Yeah, it's really true. Yeah, like that. Yeah, wow. Yeah, no, it totally fits just completely in with her character. Like it's yeah, that's like the best. Like it really is like the best way for her to go.
And I do think we are going to see a certain amount of like, oh, this now motivates the Doctor to do stuff.
Yeah,
but it's like she certainly got her due, I feel.
Yeah. Like whatever the Doctor does now is obviously, you know, his choice, but like, yeah, I think like he's been instructed to not let this get to him, and I mean like obviously it's going to get to him, but like I feel like this is I feel like it's very different. I think like it's very different from like every other companion goodbye that we've had. I mean like to some extent like, you know, when Amy left, you know, she sort of told River to look after him, which is kind of not the same thing,
right? But
right here, you know, this is all on the Doctor where like, you know, he knows he's not supposed to take this too far. So yeah, it's just it's so like I really like it. Like I like this direction. Like this is just such a good. It's so good and different, and like it's just man, it's just it's so good.
How do you think it compares to the numerous other Clara leaving scenarios we've had? And I'll list them.
All right, go ahead.
I don't know if we're going to count Oswin's death and Clara Oswin Oswald's death, but I'll throw them in there.
Yeah,
just for good measure. There's the name of the Doctor, where she seems to be about to give up her life to save the Doctor by jumping into his time stream. I would consider that like a Clara leaving moment.
Yeah.
There's Death in Heaven.
Right.
She does she and the Doctor do the whole lying to one another thing, and then there's Last Christmas, where there's, you know, Clara ages and dies or whatever, but doesn't. So there are these things where they keep, you know, almost leaving.
Right.
She keeps almost leaving and then not leaving.
Yeah.
How do you think this stacks up to those?
Well, I think it's the best of any of them. I do think it is like better than any of the other ones, with the exception of maybe Clara jumping into the Doctor's time stream to save him. I think had she died there, because that would have also been on her own terms, and I think that's also like a big thing. Maybe too big. I don't know. Like if she's the one companion that saved the Doctor, and then like that's how she died. I wonder if that's too big. I don't know. But I mean, like someone's got to do it. Someone's got to save the Doctor. But I feel like that would have been a good point for her to die too. Like just in terms of like it would have been good that she is like, I don't know, like she takes that, like she takes the initiative there, and like she's the one who sort of sacrifices herself so that the Doctor can keep doing what he's doing. I guess that's like a good. I feel like that would have been a good time as well. But I think like this is, I don't know. I almost like this better though, because she's just saving somebody. Yeah. She's not saving the Doctor. She's just saving somebody. I mean, obviously someone she's, you know, she is friends with. So I mean, it's not like she's saving a perfect stranger, but like, you know, it's the same kind of thing where like I think I don't know. I think because that's more like. That's more in the spirit of the Doctor, where like, you know, he takes it upon himself to just save somebody. I mean, like, well, he doesn't always do that, but like, you know, that's like the big message is like, you know, if you can't save everybody, you know, at least save somebody, and that's what Clara does here.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, so I think that like it's still even better than her saving the Doctor. So like, yeah, I'm gonna stand by that. I think this is the best possible.
I honestly kind of prefer Death in Heaven.
Really?
Yeah, because there's just something so wonderfully fitting about like these are two messed up people who have a messed up relationship, and because they're so messed up, they just lie to each other and don't do what they really want to do, which is run off in the TARDIS together. And they're probably better off not being together. And there's just something so deliciously uncomfortable and sad and like, but so fitting to their characters to that, where I just like, yeah, this is how this ends. But I don't regret her coming back. So
yeah.
So I do think this is good. I do think, I had previously complained that we didn't get a lot of Clara actually doing stuff this series.
Yeah.
And I do kind of wish we'd had maybe a little bit more, but I do think this kind of almost made up for it, because this was a very Clara heavy episode.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, this is like such a perfect like final episode for Clara, assuming that this is her final episode, which, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that.
Yeah, although we may have to do one more final comparison.
Yeah, we might. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Is like, what if we look back at this and this is like after we've seen all of series 9, and it's like, well, this was the fake out. This was the penultimate fake out or whatever. Or I guess maybe this is the last fake out. But like, I don't want to look back at this and have this not be the real one. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
If this turns out to be a fake, then that may cause this episode to plummet in my estimation. I don't know.
I don't think it's a fake. I think this is Clara's big exit, but I just would not be surprised if there's some kind of epilogue, whether it's a dream or a splinter or an identical relative or something like that.
Yeah.
I do think there's going to be some kind of epilogue version, like where the Doctor's like sort of final encounter with Jenna Coleman.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. And yeah, I think that would be fine. I think that, yeah, and I think that might be kind of nice.
I think one way or another, Jenna Coleman is going to be in Hellbent.
Yeah, she kind of has to be. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to work her in some. I mean, like, they have to work her in somehow, even if it's just like, in Time Flight, where you just see like the I don't know, if you just see like a hallucination of Clara.
Exactly.
She's still there.
In fact, I think the more like Time Flight they can make it, the better.
Yeah, if they could bring back the Concorde just for that episode, do some kind of like some sort of like...
If they could have Missy dress up in like a really racist costume for no reason while she's alone and is not interacting with other characters.
Yes.
Then I think that will be worthwhile.
I think that would be the cherry on top. That would make Series 9 the best series of all time. I think we would be able to say it hands down, greatest series of all time. Mm-hmm. That's all it needs.
Oh, hey, this was the first appearance in Doctor Who of retcon.
No, I seem to remember reading somewhere online that that's a Torchwood thing.
Yep.
It may have been even in the few episodes of season 1 that I actually watched.
It's in the first one.
Okay, I seem to recall that. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, it's just a memory drug.
Okay.
Nothing super special about it. It's just a memory wipe.
Just a good old-fashioned memory wipe.
It's a good name for it, though.
Oh, I love that name. That's a great name. Because, I mean, like, that's just... that's just self-aware enough that I just eat that stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. But yeah, so that's cool. So that's something. That was a concept that has never been in Doctor Who before. That was just like a Torchwood thing.
I mean, memory wipes have obviously been in Doctor Who.
Well, I mean, memory wipes have been in a lot of things.
Yeah, some things we don't even recall. Yeah. It was. I don't think retcon itself has ever been in Doctor Who until now.
But now there are no special properties of it. It's just like your generic memory wipe drug.
I forget. I think it was like there was something about it like being dangerous if done a lot over time.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe I'm just making that up.
Well, it could be. It stands to reason. I think that probably goes true for most things if you do them enough.
Probably.
I think if you walk up too many flights of stairs, that can be hazardous too. Statistically.
Oh, yeah.
You got to figure one of these times you're just going to trip and fall. And then who knows? That's dangerous. Stairs are dangerous. You got to stay away from them.
Probably.
You got to stay away from those. I seem to recall some dinosaur comic discussing the fatality of stairs. I don't know.
There are a lot of dinosaur comics discussing a lot of things.
Yes, there are. But yeah. Okay. So retcon. That's cool. Well, that's another thing is I like the sort of I like a cohesive Doctor Who universe. And so if we can have just these bits bleeding over into each other. That's good. I like that. I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's good stuff.
But before we go,
Uh-huh.
have you heard the clip of the War Doctor audio?
I have not. I saw that it was out there, but I have not listened to it. Is it good?
It's pretty good.
Ooh.
I don't know if we discussed the clip of the 10th Doctor and Donna audio, because there was a clip of that as well.
I remember. I definitely listened to that. I don't know if we discussed it though.
But that was the 10th Doctor and Donna audio was like actually stepping into a time machine.
It was.
And
it was. Oh my god, it was.
And honestly, it made me feel better about the concerns I had brought up about the music, because the music under it was clearly not Murray Gold, but it was fine.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah. That's the thing, is it was like, it was good enough on its own, where like, it obviously wasn't Murray Gold, but like, yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe it was just like David Tennant and Catherine Tate were just carrying it so well that like, whatever you put under it didn't matter. But I know, I think it, like, oh man, I am really excited for that, and I am like extremely glad that I pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's awesome.
Speaking of Big Finish, new series Big Finish, I have recently listened to Unit Extinction.
Oh yeah.
And also Jago and Lightfoot and Strax.
How are those?
Unit Extinction is, I think it's really good.
Huh.
It's great to hear Kate Stewart and Osgood as well. I do think that they're not likely to. I think it's set before Day of the Doctor.
Oh, okay.
Their Big Finish's rights extend up to the end of the Matt Smith era.
Oh, okay.
So they're not going to be able to reference Zygon Treaty, I guess. I mean, maybe they could do something based on Day of the Doctor, because that's in the Matt Smith era, but they're not going to be able to go any further than that.
Huh. Interesting.
But yeah, so it was really good. It was not it's not like super revolutionary or anything.
Okay.
But it's just like a really fun 4-part thriller with the unit characters you know and love. And the concept is really interesting. It's the enemies are the Autons.
Huh.
And the sort of tech concept that's used is 3D printing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. 3D printing, Auton. It's an Auton plot that involves 3D printers.
Oh wow. Wow, that's got a lot of possibility.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Huh. I mean, I always say I need to check out Big Finish more, and I think that this is another case of that, where I think I need to actually finally like check that out. Huh.
Yeah, I think it goes up in price at the end of the month.
Oh,
it's
well.
20. It's probably going to go up to 25.
Huh.
Yeah, and Jago and Lightfoot and Strax was it was very fun. You're not familiar with Jago and Lightfoot, are you?
I'm not. No.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I think I'd recommend it to pretty much anyone. You don't really need to know anything about Jago and Lightfoot, other than that they're just two Victorian detectives of the paranormal or whatever.
Okay.
And yeah, it's good, and Strax is in it.
Huh. Well, I mean, like, who could object to that? Well, I guess people who hate Strax.
There may be someone who can object to that, but I sure couldn't.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, I like Strax. I'm a fan. I don't know if I would say I'm a fan, but like, I like Strax well enough. I don't think he's like the Jar Jar Binks of Doctor Who, which I mean, I feel like some people have tried to make that comparison.
I think I have heard something along those lines. I don't know if I've heard it that specifically, but I think, yeah, I don't know.
But I don't. So I don't feel that way at all, and I feel like I'd be willing to listen to Strax talk about whatever it is, acid grenades or laser monkeys or whatever he's talking about these days.
Yeah, he there's an interesting scene with a parrot where Strax gets into conflict with a parrot.
Oh, that sounds like that could be rife with conflict.
Oh, it's rife. But yeah, and the sort of concept is that Strax suffers a blow to the head and thinks that Jago and Lightfoot are Jenny and Vastra, which is apparently an idea that Moffat came up with. Yeah, so they wrote to Moffat in Cardiff saying, "Hey, can we do Jago and Lightfoot and Strax?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've got this great idea."
That's awesome.
I love that. But
yeah,
so Big Finish's new series output so far has been pretty darn good, and their Torchwood series continues to be quite good as well. So
right, wow, yeah, wow. I think I definitely need. I've not heard the War Doctor clip yet, but I mean, I feel like I'm gonna need to order that one too.
And that's out next month.
Oh right, yeah. So my wallet is about to get a lot lighter.
That's the plight of the Big Finish fan.
Yeah, I can tell. But yeah, I mean, like, well, it's just like, if they're gonna put out such great content, I guess I just got to get used to it.
They put out a lot.
Well, right.
A lot too.
Yeah, wow.
And then River's in January.
Oh wow, right, River. Wow, geez. Yeah, they're really taking this new Who license like to the max.
To the max.
Yeah, numeral 2, the spelled THA, and max spelled just normally.
Yeah.
Maybe with a few extra X's or something. Just one extra X, I think, just for flavor.
As long as you got the flavor, it's fine.
But yes. Yeah, I got a lot of pre-ordering to do.
Oh yes.